The galaxy had moved on. Millennia had passed since Earth's destruction. To most civilizations, humanity was nothing but a ghost story, an old myth told in quiet whispers. Records spoke of a blue world, once alive with cities and oceans, but burned to silence in a war no one remembered. The stars themselves seemed to erase Earth's memory, and yet the signal remained. It began as a faint sound, a broken pulse of static that drifted through the dark between stars. At first, no one noticed. The galaxy was full of noise, old satellites, collapsing stars, and the endless hum of machines. But then, the signal grew stronger. A small research vessel from the Veyran Empire picked it up first. The crew thought it was nothing more than background radiation, but when their communications officer cleaned the data, the sound became clear. A steady rhythm, a pattern, a voice hidden inside the noise. The officer froze. This is human. The word spread fast. The Veyrans brought the recording to their empire's council. At first, the rulers laughed. Impossible, they said. Humanity is long gone. Their world is dust. But the scientists did not laugh. The signal was too precise, too deliberate. It was not an accident. It was a transmission, and it was still broadcasting after thousands of years. The message traveled across the galaxy. Empires argued in their council halls. Was it a trick? Was it a trap? Or was it something worse, proof that Earth still had power after extinction? The Union of Stars declared it harmless. The Dominion called it a ghost. But others were not so. Sure, some feared the signal was a warning, a voice from the dead. More ships were sent to investigate. At first, they only circled the ruins of Earth from far away. Sensors confirmed the planet was broken, its surface black with scars, its oceans boiled away. The cities were nothing but stone skeletons, standing like gravestones to a species that once was. But still, the signal echoed. Every hour, the same pattern repeated. Some swore they heard words inside the static. Some claimed it whispered their names. Others said it felt alive, as if the signal was watching them. And then, ships began to vanish. The first was a Veyran scout craft. It entered orbit around Earth's ruins and sent back reports of strange energy readings. Then its transmission cut. When rescue ships arrived, all they found was drifting wreckage and an open comm channel still playing the signal. The second was a Dominion warship. Its crew joked they would silence the ghost once and for all. But when they approached Earth, the warship's systems failed. Lights died, engines froze. The crew screamed as something unseen tore their ship apart. Their final broadcast carried nothing but static, echoing in the same rhythm as the signal itself. Fear spread. The galaxy began to whisper again. The humans are gone, they said, but their world is not silent. The Council of Empires debated endlessly. Some demanded that the ruins be destroyed completely, that Earth be erased forever. But others refused. What if we anger something greater? They asked. What if the signal is not just a relic but a warning? Explorers and mercenaries still tried to reach Earth. Some were lured by greed, hoping to find ancient human weapons buried in the ashes. Others were driven by curiosity, wanting to solve the mystery. Most never returned. Those who did return came back broken. Their ships drifted half dead, their crews whispering madness. We heard them, survivors said. Voices in the dark, shadows in the ruins. Humanity is not gone. They are waiting. The galaxy laughed at them, calling them liars. But the fear spread deeper with each story told, and all the while the signal grew stronger. It reached farther into the galaxy now, echoing across distant systems. Entire planets began to hear it through their own machines. Soldiers woke in the night hearing whispers from their comms. Traders swore they saw shapes moving near their ships when they passed close to Sol. The galaxy could no longer ignore it. The great council chamber of the Alliance. One alien leader spoke the thought all others feared to admit. If the humans are truly extinct, then why does their voice still speak? No one answered. And in the silence of that moment, the signal continued to play, unbroken, unending, a heartbeat of a species, thought long dead. The galaxy had forgotten Earth, but Earth had not forgotten the galaxy. And soon, they would all remember. The signal refused to die. Days turned to weeks, weeks to months, and still the strange rhythm echoed across the stars. Every empire, every alliance, every wandering trader in the void had heard it. At first, they dismissed it as a ghost. Now, they could no longer ignore it. The galaxy began to argue. In the Council of Empires, voices rose in fury. Some demanded the ruins of Earth be destroyed completely, wiped from the stars. "A dead world has no right to speak," they shouted. Others argued for caution. What if it is not a relic? What if it is something alive? Fear mixed with greed. The Quarian Dominion declared that the signal was a prize to be claimed. If humanity's weapons or archives still existed, they would belong to the Dominion. Their fleets prepared expeditions to Sol, eager to strip the ruins bare. The Veyran Empire, cautious and cunning, warned against it. Their scientists studied the signal closely. The patterns inside it changed every few cycles, small shifts like breathing. "It is not a recording," they whispered. "It is active, like something is responding." But no one listened. The first expedition launched. A dozen Dominion cruisers entered the Sol system, engines burning bright. They expected silence, broken stone, and easy salvage. What they found was different. The wrecks of past ships drifted. There, scouts, raiders, explorers, all torn apart, their hulls marked by burns no one could explain. The Dominion admiral laughed when he saw them. "Old debris," he said. "Ghost stories." But when they reached Earth's orbit, their laughter ended. The signal grew louder. No longer faint, no longer distant. It roared through their ships, blasting from every speaker, every comm, every screen. Crew members clutched their heads in pain. Some swore the static formed words, human words, though none could agree on what they meant. One officer screamed, "It knows we are here." Panic spread. The admiral ordered a retreat, but before his fleet could turn, one cruiser vanished. No explosion, no fire. Just gone. The space it once filled was now empty, as if the ship had been erased. The others fled in terror, engines straining as they escaped the pull of Earth's orbit. Of the 12 cruisers, only 8 returned. Their captains spoke of shadows moving in the dark, shapes too large to be ships watching them from the ruins. The galaxy trembled. Whispers spread faster than light. The signal was not harmless. It was not a ghost. It was something far worse. Some called it a curse. Others called it a trap. A few, those who still feared humanity, called it a warning. And yet, curiosity remained. The Syndicate of Free Worlds sent their own mission, not of soldiers, but of scholars. They believed the signal held knowledge, perhaps the final words of a lost species. Their small science fleet entered Sol with reverence, not weapons. For 3 days their transmissions came through. They described ruins of metal towers still standing on Earth, cracked but proud. They described oceans of black glass where seas had once flowed. They described machines half buried in ash, still humming faintly, as if waiting. On the 4th day, their transmissions stopped. A single burst reached the galaxy, a scream followed by static. The same static, the same rhythm. The scholars were gone. From that moment, fewer dared to approach. The Sol system became a forbidden graveyard, cursed by those who feared it, coveted by those who dreamed of its secrets. Still, the signal spread. Across distant colonies, ordinary citizens began to hear it in their sleep. Traders swore their ships picked up phantom readings when passing nearby. Some captains refused to sail any route within 10 systems of Earth, terrified they would hear the voice too clearly. And then, the signal changed. For the first time in millennia, its rhythm shifted. Not random noise. Not a broken pulse. This time it carried something new. Words, 3 words repeated again and again in a voice that was not alien at all, a voice that was human. We are here. The galaxy froze. No one laughed now. No one called it a ghost. Across every empire, rulers and soldiers alike stared at the translation, their minds filled with dread. If humanity was gone, why did the voice still speak? If Earth was dead, who or what was sending the message? The galaxy did not have answers. Only fear. And in the dark of Sol, the signal pulsed again, steady and endless, not fading, not dying, alive. The galaxy could no longer deny the truth. The signal was not fading, it was growing, stronger, louder, and now with words that chilled even the bravest soldiers. We are here. For many, it was enough to stay away. But others, driven by pride or greed, refused to believe in fear. The Dominion sent more fleets. The Syndicate sent scavenger crews. Independent mercenaries and hunters poured into the Sol system, convinced they would uncover treasures buried in the ruins of Earth. They thought they would find weapons, relics, or forgotten technology. Instead, they found the curse. The first landing happened on Luna. A Syndicate scavenger team set foot on the ancient moon, their boots sinking into gray dust that had not been touched in centuries. They laughed, calling it nothing more than a graveyard. Their scanners showed old structures buried deep, collapsed bases, forgotten hangars, broken machines. But then one of them touched a cracked wall. Lights flickered. The entire base hummed, as if something inside had only been sleeping. The crew panicked. They tried to flee, but their shuttle would not start. Its systems were jammed, frozen by a signal stronger than anything they had measured. Their last transmission was a scream, cut off by static. On Earth itself, ruins stretched across every horizon. Black oceans of glass reflected a sky filled with dust. Tower skeletons reached upward like bones. Cities stood empty, silent but not dead. A Dominion strike team entered one such city. They found machines buried in the streets, massive shapes of steel, silent and still. The soldiers mocked them, saying, "Human toys." But then the machines stirred. One by one, the steel giants opened their eyes. Their cores glowed with blue fire. Their weapons unfolded. The Dominion soldiers fired in panic, but their shots bounced off armor thicker than mountains. The last survivor tried to escape, screaming into his comms, "They are not gone. The humans are still here." And then silence. The ship that carried them lifted from Earth's surface half destroyed. It drifted toward orbit, its crew burned, its captain dead. The only sound inside was the signal, repeating endlessly, "We are here, we are here, we are here." Fear spread like wildfire. The galaxy began to believe Earth was cursed. Whole fleets turned back before reaching the Sol system, too afraid to risk the fate of those who entered. Traders marked the region with a single word, forbidden. But not all could resist. Curiosity was stronger than fear for some. A group of scholars from the Veyron Empire convinced their leaders to allow one final study. "We will learn the truth," they promised. Their ships entered orbit and landed in what had once been a human capital city. They moved through streets of ash and stone, documenting everything: broken statues, empty towers, burned machines. At first, nothing happened. For hours, they thought the stories were false. But then they reached the center of the city. There, standing alone, was a tower still intact. Its walls glowed faintly. The scholars entered. Inside, they found a chamber filled with light. At its center, a single device pulsed, sending out the endless signal. One of them stepped closer, placing his hand on it, and the device spoke, not in alien words, not in static, but in perfect, clear human language. "You should not be here." The chamber shook. The scholars ran, but the exits closed around them. Their screams filled the comms. Their ships in orbit tried to respond, but before they could act, the entire city lit up with blue fire. When the light faded, the city was gone, and so were the scholars. The survivors in orbit fled immediately. Only one transmission escaped the ruins, a warning carried on broken voices. Do not come to Earth. Do not seek its secrets. Humanity is not gone. Humanity waits. The galaxy fell into chaos. Some claimed it was proof humans had survived hiding in the ruins. Others swore it was only machines, still carrying out ancient orders. But the conclusion was the same. Earth was no grave. It was a trap, a curse, a nightmare that refused to die. And yet, even in fear, one truth burned brighter than ever. The signal never stopped. Through every system, every channel, every dark corner of space, the words echoed again and again. We are here. The galaxy had seen enough to be afraid, but fear turned to terror when the ruins of Earth began to move. For millennia, the planet had been silent, black oceans, broken towers, and dust-filled skies. The signal was the only sign of life. But now, something inside the ruins stirred. The change was small at first, so small that only the most sensitive scanners detected it. Strange energy spikes pulsed beneath the surface. Heat signatures appeared, where none should exist. The empires dismissed it at first. Residual power, they said. Old machines waking before they die. But the readings grew stronger. In the Sol system, hidden watchers reported seeing lights flicker across the ruins of cities. Towers glowed faintly, as if veins of fire ran through them. The moon's shadow side shimmered with power, and from Earth's orbit, broken satellites that had floated dead for thousands of years suddenly reactivated, their panels turning, their antennas locking on distant stars. The galaxy whispered in horror. The curse was not only alive, it was awakening. A brave or perhaps foolish fleet of mercenaries tested it. Drawn by greed, they entered orbit and fired on the ruins, hoping to silence the signal once and for all. Their missiles fell like rain, tearing into the planet's surface. Explosions lit the black sky. For a moment, it seemed they had succeeded. The signal went quiet. The galaxy held its breath. Then, Earth roared. The ground split apart, tearing, open like wounds. From beneath the ruins, massive machines rose, giants of steel, scarred with age but glowing with fire. Their weapons activated instantly, cutting through the mercenary fleet with precision. Ships exploded in seconds, torn apart by beams of light that no empire recognized. The signal returned, louder than before. But this time, it was no longer only words. It carried emotion, rage. We are here. We are awake. The survivors fled, in panic, leaving half their fleet burning in orbit. The galaxy watched the recordings, horrified by what they saw. Earth's ruins were not ruins at all. They were defenses built to outlast extinction itself. Across alien councils, fear became chaos. The Veyron Empire declared Sol forbidden territory. The Syndicate demanded that every empire join forces to contain the threat. The Dominion, blinded by pride, swore to destroy Earth once and for all. But deep inside, none truly believed they could, because something worse followed. The automated defenses did not stop at Earth. On the moon, massive, cannons rose from hidden craters, their barrels glowing like suns. In the asteroid belt, shapes emerged from the shadows. Ancient shipyards still active, their forges burning after millennia. And around Jupiter, vast constructs floated, activating engines that shook the void. The galaxy realized with horror that the humans had not only defended their world, they had buried entire fleets within their system, ships that were never meant to die, weapons that would never grow silent, a fleet that would awaken the moment Earth was threatened. The Dominion sent scouts to confirm. None returned. Their last transmissions were filled with screams, static, and the repeating human voice. This is Earth. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Fear became legend. Worlds far from Sol began to ban human artifacts. Traitors who carried even fragments of Earth's relics were executed. Some planets spread wild stories, that human ghosts lived inside machines, that their voices traveled through the static, that they could curse entire fleets with a single signal. But not all dismissed these tales as madness. Some remembered history. Some remembered that humanity had once fought empires greater than the Dominion, and won. Perhaps the humans were gone. Perhaps they were truly extinct. But their will remained, locked into machines and steel, waiting forever. And now, it was awake. The galaxy trembled at the thought. If this was only the beginning, if these were only automated guardians, then what else still slept within Earth's ashes? The signal pulsed again, spreading far beyond its old reach. Entire sectors heard it now, carried on every frequency, burning through every defense. Civilizations tried to block it, but nothing worked. 3 words: endless, merciless. We are here. The galaxy could no longer laugh. The galaxy could no longer ignore. Because if the ruins of Earth could awaken with such fury, what would happen if humanity itself ever returned? The galaxy no longer called it a myth. No one dared to laugh. The signal had grown too strong, too loud, too alive. Every empire, from the richest core worlds to the smallest outposts at the rim, now heard it. It came through military channels, civilian networks, even private comms. No system could block it. The same words, endless and unstoppable, pulsed through the stars. We are here. At first, many believed it was only an automated defense, a trap built by humans before their destruction, machines with no masters repeating orders long after their creators were gone. But then, the signal changed again. It began to speak, not only in words but in voices. Thousands of them. Male, female, old, young. The voices of humanity. They overlapped, they whispered, they shouted, layer upon layer of echoes carrying across the void. Some pleaded, some warned, some wept, and some promised vengeance. The galaxy listened in terror. For the first time in history, entire fleets refused orders. Soldiers mutinied rather than risk traveling near Sol. Entire colonies evacuated trade routes that passed too close to the cursed system. Still, the signal spread. Then came the revelation. The Veyron scientists, who had studied the transmission from the beginning, finally cracked part of its code. It was not only a warning, it was a map. Hidden inside the signal's rhythm was a pattern of coordinates. Dozens of them, scattered across the galaxy. At each location, ships were sent. And at each location, something was found. Human vaults, human weapons, human machines waiting in silence. In one system, an entire fleet of automated drones, dormant until touched, awoke and destroyed everything nearby before vanishing back into the dark. In another, a massive archive tower spoke in perfect translation, declaring itself a library of human war tactics. In another, an orbital station lit with fire, blasting trespassers into dust. The galaxy realized the truth. Earth's destruction had not ended humanity. Humanity had prepared for it. They had buried their will across the stars, scattered like seeds, waiting for the day they would be needed. And now, the day had come. The Dominion, proud and arrogant, tried to fight the curse. They sent their grand fleet, the largest they had ever assembled, into Sol itself. They swore to burn Earth's ruins until nothing remained. What they found was worse than anything they imagined. When their fleet reached orbit, the ground of HFY, Earth itself split open. Mountains tore apart. Oceans of glass cracked. From the core of the planet, vast machines rose, dreadnoughts larger than cities, armored in black steel, glowing with fire older than memory. They had waited. They had endured. And now they were awake. The Dominion's fleet did not survive. Not a single ship returned. Only fragments of their last transmission escaped. Screams, fire, and the signal rising over it all, louder than ever. The galaxy was silent. Entire empires fell into fear. Some leaders declared neutrality. Others swore never to go near Sol again. But the lesson was clear. Earth was gone. Humanity was extinct. But their voice, their will, was eternal. Across every star system, the final form of the message burned. We are here. We remember. We wait. It was not only a warning, it was a promise that even in extinction, humanity would not be erased. A promise that their strength, their wrath, their pride would echo forever. And the galaxy understood. They had mocked Earth. They had called humanity weak. But now, long after their destruction, the humans had done the impossible. They had made the galaxy afraid, not of the living, but of the dead. The eternal warning had begun, and the stars would never forget it.